Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Salt Lake City Snowhawks expansion franchise here on Madden 25. We have a big one for you here today as we have the Los Angeles Rams at 10-2, leading the NFC, and our Salt Lake City Snowhawks at 9-3, right behind them in the NFC standings, as we are currently the 5th seed right now, despite our record, of course, holding that first wild card spot because the Rams, the top team in football right now, I think as well, the hottest team, winning 7 of their last 8 games after we defeated them in week 4. They have just gone on a wild run now as we have split our last 3. So after a 6-0 start, we're now 9-3. Varied results as of late, but hoping to get back into the win column as we are now coming off our bye week. So hopefully we can replicate results from last year. After our bye week, we went on to win 7 of our last 8 games, and hopefully now with 5 remaining in this year 5 season, we can do enough to repeat as division champs as we're now underway here. Our final division game of this year 5 season. We're now 4-1 in the NFC West play, hoping to sweep the season series here against the Rams as they get a decent return off the opening kickoff. 27 yards, or starting at the 27, and Will Evans, the 4th-year quarterback out of North Carolina. A breakout season for him. He's been very good over the course of this franchise, but just getting better and better. 33 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, over 3,100 passing yards, as he has beat out Bryce Young. Now Bryce Young signed a massive contract in free agency going back to the year 1 offseason. Now on the first pass attempt for Evans going down the field, that's knocked down by Matthew Torrance. But Bryce Young was brought in to be the starter, but Will Evans, as the 3rd-round pick, just ended up getting the starting spot and has not looked back, as that time going to hit Puka Nacua, I think that was, as Nacua, the 3rd leading receiver in the NFL entering this game. We actually have Carlos Alvarez, who leads in catches and receiving yards, but Nacua leads with 14 touchdowns. Carlos Alvarez and Puka Nacua battling for a triple crown potentially, as that one going to be dropped by Williams. So the Rams going to go 3-and-out to start this game. Great result from our defense. And we are going to just do defense only in this matchup against the Rams because earlier in the season we just stuck with the offense. So we're going to just even that out. Now on the return there is Drew Collins, as he just works that to the 28. So that will bring on Lucas McDonald, who is, of course, is in contention for this year's MVP trophy as the most valuable player here in the NFL. A phenomenal season on his part too, with 30 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, very comparable ratio there to that of Evans, as we start a 4-yard completion for Vince Willis. Then we get 27 yards for Carlos Alvarez, trying to add to that league-leading receiving total. But then we get 8 yards for Darnell Washington already in Rams territory. Now 3rd and 1 at the 31. We go back 3, which will now bring on a 51-yard field goal attempt, which is good now from Will Reichard. And just like that, the defense right back onto the field. But we do now have a 3-point lead. The Rams stacking the line this time. They'll start a gift for Williams. We didn't see any carries for him on the opening drive, and that's Dale Gilmore going downhill to make the play. 2nd and 3 at the 37. There goes Nacua in motion. He gets the little pop pass there, and he'll be brought down for a loss. Matthew Torrance, a great play that time. Make it 3rd and 6 now. The defense trying to force another 3-and-out. And now Evans from the pocket over the middle of the field has a man open. That's Rashid Shaheed, and he's going to get body slammed by Quay Walker. Shaheed already has 5 or 6 touchdowns on this season. His 4th year as a Ram, came over back in that year 1 free agency along with Bryce Young. And just such a bizarre situation for Bryce Young. I think he's still owed $150 million over the next 3 years. And now trying to set up a screen for Williams, they do get it to him. And a good lead block there in the 2nd level, as that was, I think, Terrion Arnold was pancaked by the pulling guard there into the 2nd level, and Williams gets the 1st down. Now LA into Salt Lake City territory for the first time to give up the middle for Williams. He has a lot of space to run, breaks a tackle on the truck and gets 20 into the red zone. Now at the 16-yard line off that 3rd down, the Rams have been moving the ball very well now. Evans time to throw in the pocket, goes 2nd read, and that's almost intercepted by Jerry Sexton, undercutting that one. That might have gone back all the way too if Sexton was able to hang on his 93 speed there at the linebacker position. Now on 2nd down, Evans another drop back. Going to the corner of the end zone, he has a man, I thought, as that sails incomplete to Sean Gross and Terrion Arnold there in coverage. And now 3rd and 10 for the Rams. Evans again from the pocket, time to throw, although it does collapse on him, and he'll be brought down for the sack. And that's the rookie Taylor Goddard making now double-digit sacks for the rookie out of Tennessee, the 21st overall pick in this past year's draft. And I think it's safe to say at this point he's more than leading the Defensive Rookie of the Year candidacy. We also have Dakota Michaels, who is up there. He has 3 interceptions leading the team. Also had a pick 6 in the past episode. But Taylor Goddard, too strong of a case, I think, with his pass rushing prowess. that's been on display over the course of this season. So that brings up a 4th and 20 now, a 43-yard field goal attempt for the tie, as that one's up and good by Cade York. And now 5:33 remaining in the first. Let's see if the Snowhawks can get some more points. We had a prime opportunity to keep that drive going last time. It was 2nd and 1, and we ended up not converting in that situation. We get 5-yard rush from Manny Reynolds, our rookie. Now on 3rd and inches, we get 5 yards from Bigsby. He does convert that time. 4 yards for Dontavion Wicks on 1st down. 3-yard rush from Vince Willis. Now a 3rd and 3, and we do get a 7-yard scramble for McDonald, and now a 13-yard hit for Mark Andrews, as we're now moving it down the field, although -2 that time from Tank Bigsby, which makes it 3rd and 12 now at the 30. And we get sacked by Jared Verse, last year's Defensive Player of the Year. And that's some crucial field position at this spot, now bringing up a 53-yard field goal attempt from Will Reichert. And that one is good, so he's able to hit again as we retake the lead. But I don't know if field goals are going to do it here in this game against the Rams. Of course, a very high-octane offense, and even their offensive line is pretty strong at this point of the franchise. Now 6-3 Salt Lake City. The Rams here, their first drive of the second quarter, give for Williams, and he's brought down by Sexton and Torrance after a 3-yard gain. As we said at the top, the Rams have won 7 of their last 8 games, maybe the hottest team in the NFL, currently holding the top seed in the NFC. And then that time another give for Williams gets another 3. We did beat them in the head-to-head earlier in the season, so if we can sweep the season series, we might have a strong grasp on getting the top seed if we can close out this season strong. Now Evans on a drop back on 3rd down, firing to the sideline. That's at the back. I'm not sure who the intended target was, but that hits the back of Dakota Michaels out there in coverage, that aforementioned rookie, and he was there guarding Puka Nacua. Not the easiest matchup there for our rookie slot corner, but he was up to the task that time. And now the Rams another punt, as that'll be Drew Collins back there again, fielding it from about the 18-yard line, only gets a few. Still early in this second quarter as we start an 8-yard rush from Marvin Harrison Jr. We just got to get him the ball any way we can, and we give it right back to him on the ground game. That's 2 carries for 12 yards, and then a 9-yard completion for Dontavion Wicks, I think his second catch of the day, but we get a 10-yard penalty against Cade Moreland. Now 2nd and 11. Another 3-yard rush from Marvin Harrison Jr. 3 carries on this drive. I don't think that's ever happened before. And then 12 yards for Dontavion Wicks does move the chains, and then 14-yard pass for Tank Bigsby. So we're getting Bigsby involved in the passing game, but getting Marvin Harrison Jr. going on the ground game. And then there we are, intercepted by Omar Spates. So just the 5th interception of the season from Lucas McDonald, as the Rams a huge play to swing momentum, and they're taking over here at about midfield, the right hash of the 49-yard line. 6:21 left in this first half of play. There goes Williams in motion as he swings out. Evans, though, will check that down, and that's going to be a 6-yard gain. Another catch for Rashid Shaheed. And now the Rams into Salt Lake City territory, 2nd and 4. Shaheed there in the motion man, as Evans will swing it out for Williams, but Jerry Sexton all over that, going to go for a 4-yard loss. Sexton read that all the way, and that backs him up now 3rd and 8, as Williams again does move out wide. Going to be matched up there against Nathan Scruggs as he goes over the middle, but well, Evans to the far sideline has a man there, hooks up, and that's going to be a nice gain, 36 yards. I think that's Morris Allen. He had a big hit against us last year. I remember him, as he's emerged now as their second receiver behind Puka Nacua, up to an 83 overall, and that's Dakota Michaels that time being beat in man coverage. We saw him up to par against Puka Nacua last time, but that time Morris Allen able to get behind him, and now the Rams into the red zone. 6-3 Salt Lake City, 4:38 now in this first half of play. Rams driving here off the fake now. Evans rolling to the right, will redirect and just throw that one away. 2nd down after the incompletion. Another drop back here. Evans trying to step up, facing some pressure, and gets rid of it again. Now 3rd and 10 at the 13. Evans going to fire for the end zone. That's almost intercepted by Nathan Scruggs. I thought for sure that was going to be intercepted. He had 5 last season. I think now 2 this season so far. The production has been down in that vicinity, but at least Terrion Arnold on the other side has had a couple himself. So now a chip shot here from 30 yards, as that one is up and good from Cade York, as it's all knotted up again here from Salt Lake City, 6-6. Now with 4:19 left in the half, let's see if our offense can retake the lead following that interception our last time out. 3-yard rush from McDonald. Now on 2nd and 7, we get 6 for Bigsby on 3rd and 1. We do not get the conversion again on 3rd down. Tank Bigsby goes backwards, as he has not been as effective as of late as he was to start the season. So maybe we'll try and get Manny Reynolds a little more involved. So 2-0-1 now for the Rams, tied up here still. No touchdowns from either side to give for Williams as he stood up there by Sexton. We do hit the 2-minute warning. Make it 2nd and 8, 1:57 now left. As Evans, another snap here, as he will be hit, and that's in the hands or knocked away by Jerry Sexton. His second pass breakup of the day now, and he had that big tackle for loss as well. Now 3rd and 8, and that was another one I thought we might be able to end up with the interception, but not the case. 3rd and 8 here, Shaheed in motion. A fake there from Evans, and again he'll be brought down for the sack. Ruke Orhorhoro getting home, his 5th of the season. A nice breath of fresh air coming over from Atlanta. Definitely needed that change of scenery, and he's been very effective complimenting Caleb Patton there on the inside, as Patton is among the leaders in sacks this season. And now Salt Lake City gonna field that from the 41. Fair catch it at least. And now let's see if we can orchestrate a little 2-minute drill here. It's a 15-yard penalty against Fiske, so it must have been a roughing the passer. Brings us into Rams territory, but then a sack from Jared Verse, his 2nd of the game already. And then we're intercepted again by Omar Spates. What is going on? 2 sacks from Verse and 2 interceptions from Spates. And now the Rams with 2 timeouts taken over at the 47. Very uncharacteristic for McDonald with 2 first-half interceptions. That was half of his total coming into this game. So with that hit, the Rams now up to the 44-yard line, and they still have a couple timeouts. As that time Evans fires a stray, Shaheed the intended target. They're going to have Williams swing out wide again. I thought they might just run it and then call a timeout, try and get the first down that way. As Evans will get the check down, though, and that will move the chains. And now up to the 37-yard line, pretty much in field goal range at this point. Another fake for Williams. Evans from the pocket, time to throw, fires to the sideline. Puka Nacua there in like triple coverage pretty much. Jerry Sexton, I think Deshaun Gross in on that one. Now Evans another snap here on 2nd down, being chased by Orhorhoro. As he just fires that one away. Orhorhoro is trying to get another sack. As now less than 20 seconds here, 3rd down. And he does take another hit there, was Evans, so that will bring on a 54-yard field goal attempt. I was hoping we can bring him back on one of those sack attempts, but not the case, as now York from 54, as that one is up, and that one is wide left. So we're still tied up here, despite another interception here from Lucas McDonald. The Rams cannot cash in. And with 12 seconds left, we will just play it out here. Get to look at the halftime report. Always like that aspect of these games. Now McDonald rolling to the right will just throw that one away. Gets hit again. And Jared Verse has been chasing him around all day, I suppose, already with 2 sacks. And that time was in on a pressure. McDonald gets rid of it a lot quicker that time, and that goes for just 3 yards, which does bring us into the second half. So despite 2 turnovers, we're still in it. We're still tied up here, and we do get the ball to start. 6-6 here from Salt Lake City. The first matchup was pretty low scoring, but this one a completely different story, even more low scoring. I think we had 34 points in that first matchup, but only 12 here in the first half of play, as we now are at the halftime report, and we'll see what's going on around the NFL. NFC West matchup here, of course, big implications for both sides in this matchup that we're playing, as the 49ers leading 10-7 as they're neck and neck there in the NFC West. The 49ers at 6-6, the Seahawks at 5-7, just a game separating them. But of course, a win there from the 49ers would give them a lot more leeway as we're trying to beat the Rams here, as the NFC West, the toughest division in football at this point in the franchise. Ravens clobbered the Giants there 23-9, as Lamar Jackson went for 248, a touchdown. Glenn Tyson there, not his best showing there, as the Giants quarterback went 12 for 20, just 152 yards. Now the Dolphins at the Jets, as we're going to play the Jets in the final game of this Year 5 season here in a couple episodes, as Davis Madden, the quarterback there, 6 for 10, 85 yards a score so far. But now back to our game, a big one here between the NFC's top 2 teams with huge division implications on the line. It's a shame that one of these teams is going to end up with a bye week, and one of them is not. One of them is going to end up with a wild card spot, which is quite a shame when you consider going over to the NFC South. None of those teams are currently over 500, but in our division, I think every team besides the Seahawks right now over 500. So we are starting with the ball here in the second half of play, as we start a couple runs there for Tank Bigsby. Now 3rd and 4, and we do move the chains there for Dontavion Wicks. 5 yards for Bigsby on first down. Now 2nd and 5, we go back, and that's a holding penalty against Jamie McLean, who's filling in at right tackle in the absence of Ike Mekonwu, who is injured in this game. We get 22 yards from Marvin Harrison Jr. there on 2nd and 15, so a big conversion. for his first catch of the day, and then he gets another one right after there for 16. So some big hits to him. 6 yards for Bigsby now in 2nd and 4. That's knocked away by Jalen Jones. So 3rd and 4, we have not been able to convert on 3rd and shorts, and that time we are not going to either, as Braden Fiske, another sack. It's always Fiske and Verse. They're definitely one of the more tantalizing tandems rushing the passer at this point in the NFL. But Will Reichert now 3 for 3 there, hits from 49. As we'll now get the defense on the field for the first time in this second half of play. Again, we're leading, but I don't think these 3-point leads are going to be able to sustain as the Rams offense. I feel like they're just a dormant giant right now, waiting to be awakened as they're going to take over here at the 28-yard line. Will Evans, he has looked pretty good so far, as now the running back receiving touchdown leaders. Kyron Williams leads the way with 5, and you see Tank Bigsby there with 3. And we never really can shut down Puka Nacua despite our efforts here today. Only 105 total yards for the Rams with a chance to take the lead here. Although Will Evans going to be sacked, and that's Dakota Michaels matching the sack earlier of Taylor Goddard, as both rookies, as we've been talking about, vying for that Defensive Rookie of the Year title. And Dakota Michaels really coming on strong here in the second half of the season. A pick 6, as we said a few weeks ago, now leading our team with 3, and that time getting home on the corner blitz. You'd love to see that. More of a safety during his college days. He did actually win the Jim Thorpe Award at Texas Tech, but moved all over the field, and just the needs of our defense. We drafted him with the expectation of him playing the slot corner role, as again there, Will Evans is going to be hit. I think that was Jonathan Grenard working the edge. Strong showing from our defense here to start. It's going to be a 3rd and 21 now. 3rd and a mile or 2 for Evans. Going to chuck it towards the sideline, as that's knocked down by Sexton. Making now 3 pass breakups for Jerry Sexton that time. Great recovery to jump and knock that one down. Now a great hang time on that punt, but Collins will field it, and still be taken down at the 47, as the offense will come back on the field with very good field position, but we don't want field goals anymore. We want some touchdowns. As you see there, McDonald over 400 rushing yards, 3rd in the NFL among quarterbacks. And now let's see him rush his way to a touchdown, as he does get 5 yards that time now into Rams territory. 3 yards for Carlos Alvarez. He's been fairly quiet in this game. And on 3rd and 1, we do get the conversion, but it was not Bigsby that time. 6 yards for Wicks, now 2nd and 4. No gain on the ground from Bigsby, now 3rd and 4. And we get 7 yards for Wicks. I thought for sure we were going to be sacked that time by Verse or Fiske and force us out of field goal range. 2nd and 10, we get 2 yards on the ground from Willis. And on 3rd and 8, we get 18 for Carlos Alvarez, but he is injured on the play. We'll look into that. Hopefully nothing serious, but that now sets us up 1st and goal at the 9-yard line. A 9-yard touchdown for Drew Collins, his first touchdown of his career. A 3rd-round pick from last year's draft at Texas A&M, only his 4th career catch, and that one goes for the score. Definitely out there because Alvarez was injured on the previous play, but you love to see Collins seize the opportunity and take advantage, as we're now up 16-6 here, the first touchdown in this Week 14 matchup I believe we're now in, as we're leading by 10 points, 1:31 left in the 3rd quarter. The Rams back out there at the 30-yard line. Evans, decisive that time, and again in the hands of Nathan Scruggs as he drops a pick 6. He dropped an interception earlier, and now make it 2 pass breakups for him. Last year's best NFC defensive back. He won that award, and that, of course, helped him get to superstar development. And now a gift for Williams on 2nd down as he fumbles. That's recovered by the Snowhawks. That's Ruke Orororo coming up with that one. Who was in on that hit, though? I got to play that back as we finally get a turnover of our own. 2 earlier off Lucas McDonald interceptions. And now this time we do recover that fumble. And that's Quay Walker, Jerry Sexton in on the combined hit. I'm not sure who really forced it free. I think Sexton from that angle was more apparent, but Orororo able to recover that fumble as we get some prime real estate off the turnover, and now really seizing momentum in this game. Taking over at the 27. Now you love to see a nice forced fumble, and there's Eric Woodard, the rookie who came back with superstar development for the Rams, a 3rd-round pick out of Florida. He's had a very good rookie season. I think that's now his 5th sack or so, as Bigsby does get 8 yards back. We're now into the 4th quarter as it's 3rd and 12. And we get 7 yards for Bigsby. So a 39-yard field goal attempt from Reichert, as he's now 4 for 4 on the day. And that makes it a 13-point lead now, 19-6. And we'll watch this kickoff as well. 13-11 left in this game. If the Snowhawks can come out with this win, hold strong down the stretch of it, we are going to be sitting pretty, at least, for the NFC West title, but definitely for that top seed as well, as Evans going to bring out the offense, taking over at the 26. Only 94 total yards now for the Rams. They have gone down a little bit. At one point, we're at 105, but I guess the sacks have just negated their total yardage now. Evans on another drop back. Desperate to get something going across his body on the run there. A lot of congestion. Tried to get that for Shaheed, I believe, but to no avail. Now second down, and it looks like he might be pressing a little bit. For the most part, he's been very composed against our Snowhawks over the course of this franchise, and this time going to tuck it and run for the first time that we've seen as he slides ahead to the 40, 14 yards on the scramble. Doing his best Lucas McDonald impression that time, as Evans and McDonald both drafted out of the SEC in the same, the ACC in the same year. Evans from North Carolina, McDonald from Georgia Tech, as he does hook up that time with Nakua for 5. McDonald drafted 23rd overall that year. Evans, I think, 96th or so. Somewhere deep in the 3rd round. Now on 2nd and 5 from the 45, Evans, a nice throw that time, will hit his man. That one gets 8, 7, 8, whatever you want to call it, but they're now at the 48-yard line. Evans, another pass attempt here. He's going to end up with a bunch at the game's end, as that time another 8 for Nakua, but an offensive lineman going to come off the field. That's Will Hall, their first-round pick out of Boston College, 11th overall, as he slams the helmet in frustration. He's had a decent rookie season and looks to be a long-time blindside tackle here for the Rams and Will Evans. And we mentioned earlier that Bryce Young, after this season, still 3 years, $150 million owed to him, but Evans did sign an extension, a 5-year, $75 million contract, so much more team-friendly, but that is not going to really help things when you have the weight of a contract like Bryce Young, especially playing in a backup role now. And Evans off the fake, going to go down the field. He does have Nakua, but he drops that one. Maybe he heard the footsteps of Dakota Michaels. And Nakua does have 5 catches in this game, only for 22 yards, though, as that one dropped. And that would have been a nice hit there, setting him up inside the red zone. And now over the middle has Nakua, not going to drop that one despite Quay Walker in on the coverage, as Sexton does bring him down, going to set him up 3rd and 2. 3rd and short now, and they will go for Williams up the middle, and he gets the first down, and will barrel ahead for a few more. I hate to see the Rams getting going late because our offense has not been the best at closing out games, as Williams, another give there, gets 6. Williams now up to 50 yards on the ground, and they will give it to him again, but that time going to go backwards a little bit. Quay Walker and Matthew Torrance combine for the stop. 3rd and 5 at the 15, definitely in 4-down territory here, as they give for Williams, and not going to get the first down, wrapped up by Quay Walker working off a block. 4th and 5 at the 14. Like I said, you got to think it's 4-down territory because a field goal it's still a 2-possession game, so you got to play for touchdowns at this point, but they will bring out the field goal unit. Bring on Cade York for his 3rd attempt, this one from 31 from the right hash, that one up and good. So 19-9 now. I think kind of a questionable decision for that time for the Rams. You got to make it a 1-possession game at this stage with 7:31 remaining, but they opt for the field goal, going for the points instead, still trailing by 10, as we will check out this kick return. And that's going to be Dak Kitchens this time, as he's nailed that time, going to be taken down at the 23. So hopefully McDonald and the offense can get some things going here. 19 for 24, 202, 1 touchdown, only 5 incompletions, but 2 of those have gone for interceptions. 7:28 remaining. Let's bleed this clock and come out with a victory. Another rush that time for Marvin Harrison Jr. as Carlos Alvarez gets 12. So it looks like he's healthy and back in the game as we get a crucial first down on this late game drive. Now 3rd and 4 at the 46, and we get 13 yards again there for Carlos Alvarez. He's had a very nice game. Now 2nd down after an incompletion, and we get another 12 yards for Alvarez. So he's had 3 catches for about 40 yards or so on this drive alone, as we are bleeding this clock now into the 2-minute warning. A 1st and 10 at the 16 with just 1:49 remaining in the game. We get another first down, and the Rams are going to have to start calling timeouts, as now on 2nd and 9, we get a 6-yard rush from Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't know where all these carries have come from for him, but he's now up to probably like 5 or 6 on the game. So now on 3rd and 3, no timeouts for the Rams, and we get the first down for Carlos Alvarez, and that goes down to the 1-yard line. So we'll see if we go for the touchdown. We just go for the knee, as I would love to add insult to injury here against a division rival, the Los Angeles Rams, but we'll be gracious in our win here. We'll take it. We'll show some mercy, as with that knee, we're now victorious here against the Los Angeles Rams. We sweep the season series, and we advance to 10-3 on the season, 5-1 in NFC West play. Our defense, what a dominant effort in this game, holding them to only the field goals. 19-9, we did what we had to do. Our defense did force that fumble earlier, making up for 2 Lucas McDonald interceptions, who, despite those 2 turnovers, did have a pretty good game, was efficient, still threw for over 200 yards, a touchdown. But the story of this game was our defense. Taylor Goddard added a sack. He's now up to 10 in his rookie campaign. Looks like we definitely hit on that first-round pick. But our other first-round pick, Dakota Michaels, he was flying all over the field. There you see him getting hit home in on that sack, as it's going to be very interesting to see how this defensive rookie of the year ends up working out. But we got to go probably with the dominant pass rusher. And now at the box score, Lucas McDonald, 23 for 29 for 247, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, which are going to make up a third of his season total after this game, 79%. And Will Evans, he's been very good in pretty much every matchup against us, but this time we certainly had his number, 14 for 32, just 119 through the air with 43% on completion. That is not that good. Tank Bigsby was not that effective, 19 for 56 at just 2.9. Williams, of course, though, always going to have a good game for the Rams. Despite that fumble, still 10 carries for 49 yards. Didn't really get him going as much as they maybe should have in such a closely contested game where the running game maybe would have been more of a strength for them. McDonald had 17 rushing yards. Marvin Harrison Jr., 5 for 26. Maybe we should just make him the feature back at this point. And the Triple Crown matchup here between Alvarez and Nacua, as Alvarez does gain a lot more ground on Nacua. Entering this game, he had 7 more catches and 54 more receiving yards, but he ends up with 9 for 112 compared to Nacua, who was just 6 for 30, although Nacua still does have that touchdown edge. But now at this point, we'll just go from our Snowhawks. Dontavion Wicks, 6 for 44, a bunch of first downs, which is usually the case. Marvin Harrison Jr., 2 for 38. So I think he had 64 yards from scrimmage between receiving and rushing yards. Drew Collins, 2 for 14, his first ever touchdown catch, as he might be a starting receiver for us next season, as Dontavion Wicks is set to hit free agency. Mark Andrews, 1 for 13, Bigsby, 1 for 14, and blocking. We did very good in this game, although we gave up 3 sacks, all of those from Jamie McLean, who is filling in for our starter, Ikem Ekonwu, but I think all those were against either Verse or Braden Fiskey. And we always have to assume those guys are going to get home at least once or twice against us in our matchups. Quay Walker, Torrance with 8 tackles, but Sexton led the way with 9. Also that TFL, also 3 pass deflections from him. Torrance 2 TFLs, 1 from Sexton, Goddard, Michaels, Walker, Rororo, who also had a sack. A bunch of pressures I think we saw as well. Goddard, Michaels, sacks. No interceptions, although we did drop a few, including 2 or 3 here from Nathan Scruggs, which do end up as pass deflections. And also 1 here from Gross, Torrance, and Michaels. Kicking, Will Reichert was phenomenal. Maybe the MVP in this game for us, 4 for 4. And he hit from 50 plus twice, and even from deep 40 once. And now for game 2 of this doubleheader here in this episode, as we're now going to host the Carolina Panthers. They come in at 4-9, still 2 games out of the division lead there in the NFC South, which is just crazy at this point. All those teams under 500, and we did fall to the New Orleans Saints a few weeks back, which was a big upset after we were able to take down the AFC leading Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. But, you know, classic trap game scenario here for our Snowhawks, as we're now atop the NFC after that victory over the Los Angeles Rams. So we got to keep it sharp, and we cannot get complacent. Every game matters here from here on out. In the last 4 games now of this Year 5 season, hopefully we can close out strong. Next week, we actually have a rematch against the Buffalo Bills for Super Bowl 62, as we'll try and get some revenge in that one. But for now, we are going to now watch the offense in this game against the Panthers, as we're here at the opening kickoff, and we are now underway here in week 15. Our Snowhawks trying to eclipse our best season ever. Last year we did have 10 wins, which did stand as our best record so far in this franchise, but now with 4 games left, we could maybe get to 12, even 13, as I think we'll take 3 out of 4 if that's the way it goes. But rookie quarterback Adrian Kincaid here for the Carolina Panthers. He does lead the NFL in interceptions with 15, second-round pick out of Colorado. Hopefully our veteran defense, which has emerged as maybe the best in football right now, can expose him, as they do have Jahmyr Gibbs after signing a huge 5-6 year contract this past free agency, although it has been a frustrating start to his start in Carolina. And now on 3rd and 2, they do get the first down there from Jahmyr Gibbs, so able to move the chains early on. And then they get 14 yards through the air for Xavier Legette, as they're now at the 49, and a fumble recovered by Dakota Michaels. The Panthers cough it up, and none other than our rookie there, Dakota Michaels, who had a sack in the last game, 3 interceptions, which leads our team, and now trying to battle there for the Defensive Rookie of the Year title against our very own Taylor Goddard. So now our offense on the field just a few minutes into this one after our defense forced the turnover. Going to dump that off for Vince Willis, breaks the tackle, now past the 50, and this will be hit hard there by a couple of Carolina Panthers defenders, but 7 yards now into Panthers territory. 2nd and 3 now at the 49. Mark Andrews there in motion. McDonald takes the snap over the middle there for Andrews, and he's hit big, cannot hold on. Now going to be 3rd and 3. We'll see if we can convert here on our first third and short situation. McDonald from the pocket to be chased, and he'll eventually be brought down. Derek Brown able to get there, but that's Knox on the initial contact. Former second-round pick out of Virginia Tech, his 4th season now with the Panthers, Joel Knox. And the Panthers have been towards the bottom in the league in sacks this season. I don't think anyone on their team has more than 3, but they'll take an early one here as they stall out that drive. Logan Cook now on for his first punt, as we're going to have to punt this one from the 43. That one is up down to the 11-10 yard line there. A good one from Cook as the Panthers back out there on offense, taking over at the 13. In addition to signing Jahmyr Gibbs, the Panthers also drafted offensive tackle A.J. Hawkins at number 2 overall, as he came back as the highest rated offensive tackle so far in any draft class. As a 78 overall offensive tackle, came back with star development though. Now on 3rd and 10 at their own 13-yard line, they do get the conversion there from Michael Wilson. Wilson came over to Carolina in that dispersal draft, where we dismantled our Cardinals roster and overhauled it into an expansion team. Wilson ended up going to the Panthers. Now they get another first down as Kincaid has been moving the ball pretty well here to start. 6 yards again on the ground. And now on 2nd and 4, interception from Jerry Sexton. So again, our defense forces a turnover. First it was a fumble, and now an interception as Kincaid adds to his NFL leading interception total. Not what you want to see from a rookie. And now at the 32-yard line, McDonald takes the snap. Quick one there over the middle, gets Dontavion Wicks, that one for 8. Now 2nd and 2 at the 24. Less than 5 minutes left in this first quarter. Another quick one there towards the sideline, but that's going to be dropped. A tough one there for Wicks. Jeremy Chin, longtime safety here for the Panthers, in on the coverage. Now another 3rd and short for Salt Lake City, and we get the pass there complete for Carlos Alvarez, but they say he backtracked too much. I thought the forward progress might give us the first down, but it's going to be 4th and inches at the 22. And we do bring on the field goal unit here. Will Reichert from the left hash from 39 yards, 17 for 21 so far on this season. Now make it 18 for 22 as he nails that one. Salt Lake City takes the lead. Let's see if our defense can keep it going and make it 3 for 3, forcing turnovers. 5 yards there for Gibbs, making it 2nd and 5. Incompletion, so a quick 3rd down now for the Panthers, and they do not get the conversion stopped. 4th and inches at the 40, and they are going to punt that one, but they keep possession on a Pete Werner penalty. So a crucial one there from a veteran linebacker. And now on 2nd down, another penalty from a veteran there. Jonathan Grenard roughing the passer puts the Panthers now up to the 37-yard line. 8 yards for Gibbs on a catch. 2nd and 2, they get 8 yards on the ground. And now on 1st down, 3 yards. So 2nd and 7, we're now into the second quarter. And they get 12 yards for the backup tight end, George Hamlin. Now a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. And they get 3 yards for Gibbs. Now 2nd and goal. And they get the touchdown there for Jahmyr Gibbs, only his 5th of the season, as they now take the lead. Not what we wanted to see here, especially after our defense forced two opportunities there for our offense to put some points on the board. We only come up with 3, and we are now trailing. And there's going to be Dre Patton on the return. He's had a few big ones so far over the course of his rookie season. That time brought down at the 28. And that'll bring McDonald and the offense back on the field, currently 3rd among quarterbacks in rushing yards behind Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson. I believe also 3rd in passing yards, although his MVP candidacy did take a big hit after that multiple interception performance in the last game against the Rams, despite the win. And now the Salt Lake City Snowhawks trailing 7-3, taking over at the 28. A quick out there for Carlos Alvarez. He turns the corner, now up the sideline, breaks a tackle as he barrels over somebody. That one going to go for 24. Alvarez leading the NFL in receptions and receiving yards, but still needs that touchdown to match Puka Nacua at 14. And that would give here for Vince Willis to the outside, and he'll pick up 7. Good response from our offense now already into Carolina territory. Now a delay there for Bigsby, although we do fake it now. McDonald trying to run to the outside, but going to be tracked down again by Joel Knox, as that'll be, I think, his 2nd sack of the day, or make it 1.5. I think they did call it a split on that first one with Derek Brown, but that one all alone, as make it 1.5, probably going to eclipse his season total entering this game. Now 3rd and 10, McDonald going to try and step up and run, but again, the pressure got to him. Again, Joel Knox. Who else? He's having himself a career day so far, as McDonald could not get settled. So make it another punt now for Logan Cook. I think the 2nd of the day already, as that one going to go out at about the 18, so make it a 30-yard net inside the 20. I guess we'll take that. Jahmyr Gibbs already 11 for 42 and a touchdown. And I mean, if you're the Panthers, that's what you're going to do. Just give it to him all the time, especially with that rookie quarterback who's turned it over already a couple times in this game. Starting 8 yards there from Wilson, though. And then a 4-yard scramble does get the first down. Now 3-yard rush again from Kincaid. On 2nd and 7, they go incomplete. So 3rd and 7. And again, he's intercepted. That's Dale Gilmore now, just his second of the season. And our offense, again, prime real estate, taken over at the 25-yard line. Already 3 turnovers forced in this game, and only 3 points to show for it so far on offense. Got to take advantage this time, as McDonald does hook up with Dontavion Wicks. That one goes for 10 or 11. Only 35 passing yards so far for McDonald, although he has only had really short fields to work with. Now at the 15 on first down, a quick one over the middle, and that one in the hands of Wicks, but forced incomplete. Second down now after the incompletion. Tank Bigsby the back. I don't think we've seen him really get any carries so far. Trying to mix in Vince Willis and also Manny Reynolds. Time to throw this time for McDonald, as he has Mark Andrews that time down to the 2-yard line. That one for 13, first and goal. And now the 3 tight ends and the fullback out there. We do go for Brandon Davison, the fullback. We don't see him get many touches, and that time stopped in the backfield by Terrell Bernard, last year's Super Bowl champion with the Buffalo Bills, but they did go on to sign Jack Campbell, which made Terrell Bernard expendable as he was traded here to the Panthers. A nice veteran presence on this defense. Now second down, going to fling that one to the corner for Wicks, and that was going to be knocked incomplete. J.C. Horn on the coverage. Now third and goal here at the 3-yard line. Wicks there in motion as McDonald takes the snap, rolling to the right. Now you don't like to see that, although he does spin away from that contact and does find himself in the end zone. J.C. Horn going to wrap him up, but too little too late as McDonald now, I believe, his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. He hasn't had as much of an impact in that area of the game as he has in recent seasons, because I think he's becoming a lot more polished and comfortable as a pocket passer, but when he can definitely still use his legs. That time shaking off the tackle, just art on display that time as he finds himself in the end zone, and it's Salt Lake City Snowhawks take back the lead with our first touchdown. Will Reichert on for the extra point. 6:35 left in this first half of play. Hopefully our defense can force yet another turnover. Already 2 interceptions and a fumble forced. That one just a 6-play, 25-yard drive, and finally we find pay dirt. Now a 3-point lead back for the Snowhawks. We'll see how the Panthers respond. Starting at the 30, 20 yards there for Jordan Whittington. A nice hit there, although sacked on the ensuing play by Caleb Patton, his 14th of the season. Now second and 17, they get 6 yards for Jahmyr Gibbs, which brings up 3rd and 11, and they get the big completion that time. Another big gain from Whittington. He had 20 before, now 22, and he gets a huge completion there to move the chains. And now a 6-yard rush for Gibbs, 2nd and 4. They get 5 yards again for Whittington, his 3rd catch already on this drive. Now into the red zone. They get 3 yards on the ground for Gibbs, 2nd and 7, -3, which will bring up to 3rd and 10 now inside the red zone. They get 18-yard touchdown for Michael Wilson. So just like that, the Panthers go right down the field, and they take back the lead with another touchdown drive of their own. So now 3:12 remaining in this first half. Hopefully our Salt Lake City Snowhawks can match it yet again. Despite all the turnovers in this game for the Panthers, they are putting some points on the board. And again, here's Dre Patton trying to work to the outside, and a good return that time, taken down to the 33. And now McDonald going to have to replicate last drive's results with that rushing touchdown, but we'll take it any way we can get it. Taking over here at the 33-yard line, McDonald directly under center. 2 tight ends on the field to give for Bigsby. As he finds a little bit of a decent lane, actually gets 5. Got skinny through the lane, just stayed upright and pushed ahead for a nice positive gain that time. And we will fake it to him now. Here on second down, McDonald flings it over the middle of the field, has a man open. That's Carlos Alvarez. That one's going to go for 21. And we do hit the 2-minute warning here. Our Salt Lake City Snowhawks trailing 14-10 here against the 4-9 Carolina Panthers. As I said at the top, basically a classic trap game here, but we're not being complacent, and we're playing tough football as we always tend to do here, despite the 4-point deficit we currently face. Now McDonald here on first down over the middle, going to check that down for Darnell Washington as he powers ahead for 11. Hopefully the AI does not squander the clock management here. They are just terrible in these late half situations, although we still do have 3 timeouts. McDonald going to go near sideline, has a man open. That's Dontavion Wicks now inside the 20 as he fights ahead, lit up, but 14 yards on the gain. And now 50 seconds left. We have yet to use a timeout. McDonald, another drop back. Rolling to the right now, and he will not be able to escape that time. That was the same guy he broke the tackle on, and that's Jonathan Kilroy, a former 11th overall pick from the year 1 offseason. He's had about 5-6 sacks over his career with the Carolina Panthers, but more of a run stopper. That time does get the sack, and we do call our first timeout. Now 42 seconds remaining. McDonald, time to throw, rolling to the right, and he will keep it as he will slide down. Just got to get out of bounds there. And we do call a timeout. So 3rd and 15 now, likely going to have to settle for the field goal attempt. McDonald in the pocket, rolling to the right, and then again going to be tracked down and sacked. That's Jonathan Kilroy. Make it 2 now in pretty much what was that 3 plays as he matches his season total entering this game. I think we've been sacked now 4 times in this first half of play. Often the case in these slow simulations. Our pass protection often doesn't hold up, especially at the tackle spots where McDonald will, roll out and then just roll right into the sack. And now that'll bring on Will Reichert for a 47-yard field goal attempt to make it a 1-point deficit going into halftime. Here from about the right hash, Will Reichert, that one up, and that one right down the middle, it looked like, as now 14-13 here from Salt Lake City, and hopefully we can just hold strong here defensively, bring this one into halftime with a 1-point deficit because we do get the ball, and we will just watch our defense here for the remainder, as we are going to get a look at the halftime report as well. And now Carolina taking that from, I think, the 4 or 5 yard line as a body slam that time from Pete Werner. He had that costly penalty earlier, but making up for it there on special teams. Jahmyr Gibbs just 3.4 yards per carry, which pretty much matches his season total coming into this game. I think he was at 3.6 on the season, as he's really struggled to find his footing so far in Carolina. Now just 25 seconds remaining. Kincaid going to set up a screen there for Gibbs, and he's brought down there by Taylor Goddard. And with that, we are going to head into halftime trailing here against the Carolina Panthers. We came in as big favorites in this game. Panthers a multi-point or double-digit underdog, I should say, but that does not matter here in the first half. They are leading 14-13 as Kincaid has had a couple interceptions, but our offense has just struggled to really fully capitalize off of those opportunities. But now here at the halftime report, we'll take a look at what's going on around the rest of the NFL in a big division matchup here. Los Angeles at Seattle. Definitely rooting for the Seahawks in this one, but they are trailing 17-0 heading towards halftime. Byron Snow just 3 for 7 in this game, really struggling there at quarterback for the Seahawks, but Will Evans a good game there, 12 for 20, 168 and a touchdown so far. And now bringing it over to the East Coast, San Francisco at the New York Jets as they win that. So the 49ers at 8-6 now, very much still in the race here in the NFC West. We are going to have to finish strong. The Jets just 3 points there. We're going to see them in the final week of this Year 5 season. Davis Madden, I saw there 2 or 3 interceptions on only 18 pass attempts now. An AFC West matchup here. The Las Vegas Raiders towards the bottom of the NFL, and they're currently trailing the Chargers 14-7 as LA really vying for a wild card spot this season, as Kansas City likely going to come away with the division again this year. But Salt Lake City, we got some work to do as we are trailing by 1. We do get the ball to start, and our offense not terrible, but we just have to be a little bit better, take advantage of those opportunities, as our defense really served it up for us plenty of times there, but just came away with I think 10 points when we were close to the goal line, taking over in Carolina territory. As now starting here the second half, going to have another Dre Patton return, as he's going to house one eventually, maybe not this season, but maybe next year. I think he might have a house call on one of these returns. Taking over now at the 25 again, Lucas McDonald, third in the NFL in passing yards, trailing just Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes entering this week. Lamar Jackson right on his horse, and Jordan Love rounding out the top 5. Only 78 passing yards though in that first half for McDonald. I think most of them to Carlos Alvarez, also Dontavion Wicks had a few catches as well. A quick one there, trying to get, I think that was Wicks up the seam, but over the head and incomplete. Again, J.C. Horn in on the coverage there, working against Wicks. Now on second down, a quick one there, setting up a screen for Alvarez, and that would have been nice, but he could not break the tackle there of James Thomas. And it looks like Alvarez maybe a little bit shaken up on the play, although he is still out there on the field, so nothing serious. Now on 3rd and 9, we definitely do not want the 3 and out to start this half. Darnell Washington in motion. McDonald takes the snap, 4-man rush for the Panthers. Time to throw. We will swing that for Tank Bigsby, man-to-man there, and he cannot break the tackle of James Thomas, as again the corner there making the stop. He had 3 interceptions going back a few weeks, which of course was a career high for him, having 3 interceptions in one game and being en route to being named Defensive Player of the Week. Now Logan Cook on for another punt. That one pretty good. Will be fair caught at the 26. The Panthers now with the lead, taking over in the second half for the first time. A 1-yard rush there from Kincaid. And now 8 yards from Michael Wilson, so make it 3rd and 2 at the 34. And they get the first down. 6 yards for Gibbs. 5-yard rush from Kincaid, 2nd and 5. 5 yards again from Kincaid, as they're moving the ball again here, already into Salt Lake City territory. 3rd and 1 at the 40-yard line. And they get the conversion there for Xavier Legette. -2 there, though, on first down from Gibbs. And now makes up 3rd and 10. And they do not get the conversion, so it's going to be a 43-yard field goal attempt, or a 42-yard field goal attempt, as they do go for it. So Will Lutz is good, as it's now a 17-13 lead, and a field goal no longer will take the lead for Salt Lake City if they're able to answer with that here on this drive. Now trailing by 4, 5:12 left in the third quarter, bringing out the heavies here with the heavy front. The fullback also out there as Tank Bigsby really cannot get anything going. Vince Willis now checks into the game. As McDonald takes the snap, he will give it for Vince Willis up the middle, and he'll get 5. Neil Abraham, former 4th-round pick out of Wisconsin, on the stop. Now 3rd and 4. Snowhawks have not been all that great so far in 3rd and short situations. That time going to fling it down the field, almost intercepted. That was at the back of J.C. Horn. I'm not sure who the intended target was, but they were not ready for that. That was Carlos Alvarez, so some miscommunication there between McDonald and Alvarez, going to cost them another set of downs here. 2 punts now to start this second half, and Carolina another chance to add on to their lead. Going to be fair caught that time at the 15 as Kincaid building some confidence now against one of the best defenses in the league, one of the best teams in the league, as they're looking to add on to this 4-point lead. Despite 3 turnovers, I cannot believe the Panthers with the lead right now, but a sack there to open this drive. Kwity Paye gets home, and hopefully that sets the tone here. 3rd and 13 now at the 12, and that's going to be knocked away by Taylor Goddard. So a great job there by our defense as they were backed up deep in their own zone, and we get the stop, forced to 3 and out, as we'll now bring the offense back out there, taking over at the 43. Another short field to work with, as we're definitely starting with good field position in this game. 2:12 now left in the third quarter. McDonald going second read there, as that was kind of risky, ends up incomplete. Neil Abraham that time at the sideline almost came away with that one. And now McDonald, again from the pocket, going to try and just check that down for Mark Andrews, but hits a man at the line of scrimmage. Only 1 third down conversion in this game for the Snowhawks offense so far. Now 3rd and 10. McDonald in the pocket again, rolling to the left, going to keep it this time, trying to work up the sideline, brought down short, and I see only gets 4. So again, our offense, a 3 and out, and we are not looking good here. That's safety Ernest Hodgins making the stop. I thought McDonald, with his speed and the way he's evasive, I thought he might be able to keep that one for the first down, but not the case. So 3 drives, 3 punts to start this second half. It is not looking good for the offense, but the defense has definitely been getting the job done despite those 2 touchdown drives from Carolina. And now Logan Cook, a very good one that time. That's going to go for a 38-yard net. The Panthers taking over at the 15 again, deep in their own zone. Now 1:22 left in the third quarter, and they get -3 for Jahmyr Gibbs, making it 2nd and 13 at the 13, 5 yards for Whittington. Now on 3rd and 8, they only got 4 yards, so a 4th and 4 again. They are going to have to punt. Our defense gets the job done again, but a better punt that time from the Panthers, as we're now back at the 28-yard line, and our offense just giving it away every single time. We have not been getting the running game established at all. McDonald really hasn't been in rhythm, and that time we're going to hit Wicks at the sideline for 4. Carolina is actually doubling our yardage at this point. Hopefully we can heat up here in the fourth quarter, though. McDonald going to be chased again by Joel Knox, I think that was, and brought down for the sack. And now make it 2.5 for him. Just no pocket presence there, no wherewithal, feeling that pressure coming from the backside, which you got to, expect that. But McDonald just a little bit rattled now, it looks like, which backs us up 3rd and 14, and we're now at risk of another 3 and out. McDonald going to fling it down the field, and he has Mark Andrews for a huge hit, which is exactly what the doctor ordered. That one from 38 yards, and finally we get a first down conversion in the most emphatic way, moving us down to the 38-yard line. And McDonald, calm in the pocket, a clean pocket to work with, and he finds Mark Andrews wide open in the sweet spot there between, 3 Panthers defenders, all in close proximity, but not close enough. As McDonald finds the big completion, hopefully that gets the mojo going. Now at the 38-yard line. McDonald takes the snap. 4-man rush for the Panthers, going to the sideline. Dontavion Wicks able to hang on, but only 2 yards. Make it a 2nd and 8 now, and I'm really hoping we can just get this one in the end zone. Don't have to bring up the situation if we should kick a field goal or not. Let's just get the touchdown, not have to worry about it. Now on 2nd and 8, McDonald, time to throw, does have a man. That's Vince Willis, and that's caught. Going to be forced out at the 7-yard line. That went for 28 yards. Our pass catching back, probably his biggest catch so far of the season, and that one moves us inside the 10. 1st and goal at the 7, Bigsby the back, but again, we are going to go for the pass, as that one a check down for Wicks. The Panthers entered this game ranking 30th in the NFL in sacks, but they've already had 5 so far. Now 2nd and goal at the 4. McDonald backtracking again, and we've seen him, really tighten up that aspect of his pocket presence and knowing where the rush is coming from, maneuvering and finding some running lanes, but just not in this game as Drake Jackson gets home. More of a reserve role. I think he beat Colton Miller on the swim move, and our tackles are getting absolutely obliterated in this game. And now that might make it an easier decision here, 3rd and goal if we do fail to get a touchdown. Probably going to kick a field goal at this stage. McDonald again from the pocket will go for the end zone. That one for no one, as that goes incomplete. So 4th and goal at the 12, going to bring on a 29-yard field goal attempt. Will Reichert here for his 3rd attempt of the day. This one from 29. As that one up, and that one is good. So make it 17-16 now. The Panthers still with the lead, but just 1 point, and hopefully our defense can hang strong. 9:39 now left in the game, and for all the trash I talk about the NFC South, it would be really unfortunate if we would go on to lose to the Saints and now go on to lose to the Panthers, but we're not thinking about the L. It's going to be a victory here on home turf, although it's 3rd and 3 now for the Panthers, and they just barely get the first down as they move the chains. Incomplete there, though. On first, now 2nd and 10, again a pass knocked away, bringing up 3rd and 10. And they get the first down again. It's Jordan Woodington, a crucial first down there for the Panthers. They keep this drive going, and then they get 13 for Leggett, and now 6 yards on the ground for Jahmyr Gibbs, making it 2nd and 4, incomplete. So 3rd and 4 now at the 30. Big play coming up, and they get another first down conversion as they've killed a lot of the clock now on this drive. 1st and 10 at the 13. 4 yards for Gibbs, now 2nd and 6, incompletion. So a big 3rd down here inside the 10, 3rd and 6 at the 9, and they get a 5-yard rush from Kincaid. What are they going to do here? On 4th and 1 at the 4, they do kick the field goal, so they make it 20-16, and they killed like all the clock in that drive. Just 84 seconds now, a 4-point lead for the Panthers. Salt Lake City does have all their timeouts, but we do have to get a touchdown now. And here's Dak Kitchens in on the return. He finds a nice seam and takes that to the 35. Entering as big favorites here at home, the Salt Lake City Snowhawks need a big drive here from McDonald as he finds a man up the sideline. Carlos Alvarez still going and finally brought down all the way at the 14-yard line. That's exactly what we needed. Excuse the screech there, but I just cannot contain the excitement because McDonald really desperate for, a late comeback drive. We haven't really seen him orchestrate all that many come from behind victories, but especially here at home against an inferior opponent, this is a game we definitely need to win. But that time all the way down the field, I don't know the exact yardage on that one, but now at the 14 with 1:14 remaining, down 4 points. McDonald rolling to the right, and now going to tuck it and run inside the 10, inside the 5, as he does get the first down, and the Snowhawks call another timeout. I get so nervous here, though, when our team has such a short field to work with. I feel like we always just shoot ourselves in the foot. Going to go for Tank Bigsby this time as he leaps into the end zone, and Salt Lake City retakes the lead here late, although still a lot of time on the clock, maybe too much for the Panthers and Adrian Kincaid to work with. But pending extra point is going to be a field goal deficit for the Panthers as that huge hit to Carlos Alvarez up the sideline sets up this Tank Bigsby touchdown, who we only gave like 2 or 3 carries to, I feel like, over the course of this game. Definitely struggled to get the running game established. We gave McDonald a heavy amount of pass attempts in this game. Extra point up and good. Make it 23-20, and that's a quick 3-play, 66-yard drive. And now on for the kick is Logan Cook. I'm sorry, that's Will Reichert, now assuming kickoff responsibilities. That one going to be fielded at the 5-yard line, as the Panthers a decent return of their own, although just to the 30. So a minute left in this game. Kincaid and the offense going back at there. Jahmyr Gibbs, 27 carries for just 92 and a touchdown, hoping to break 100, although I don't know if they're going to give him any carries from here on out. And I guess we will just watch the remainder here. 1 minute left for the Panthers. Kincaid from the shotgun takes the snap. Backtracking in the pocket now, rolling to the left, and we'll just get rid of it. Kincaid rocking number 18. Isn't that what Jake Delhomme wore for the Panthers back in the day? 18, I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Over the middle is Kincaid, and that one going for Michael Wilson, incomplete. And now make it 3rd and 10 at the 30. 51 ticks left on the clock. Still all their timeouts for the Panthers, but they have not been able to get anything going on this drive. Is Kincaid going to go up the middle, slides ahead for 4. Going to break up 4th and 6. And I don't know why they don't call a timeout there, as they just go no huddle. And now Ruke Ororo giving Chase Goddard, as well as Kincaid turns the corner, and he will just go horizontal and then brought down as Dakota Michaels. Taylor Goddard, I also think, was in on the stop, but just poor awareness that time from Kincaid, as if he committed to the scramble, he might have been able to get ahead for the first down, but still looking downfield, maybe trying to find an option through the air. But at that point, the defender closing in, you might just have to put your foot in the ground a little bit harder, turn the corner, and try and go downhill and fight for that first down. But our Snowhawks escape an upset in this Week 15 matchup against the Carolina Panthers. A nice drive there, late orchestrated by Lucas McDonald, And I don't know why they're going to the booth review here, as nothing came of that, I don't think. But now the Snowhawks taking over at the 37-yard line, just 22 seconds, trying to ice this one off as the Panthers do call their first timeout. Now 19 seconds left. Tank Bigsby still the back. McDonald directly under center. We go for a little stretch here as Bigsby taken down for a loss. Again, that's Knox. And, you know, a player like Knox having this huge game against us, we remember that. So if he ever hits like free agency, definitely someone we'll check out, as Bigsby another carry, that time only for 3, as the Panthers call their final timeout. 12 seconds remaining here at the 33-yard line, as we are going to leave the offense on the field. Kind of questionable here, and we do go for the ground game for Bigsby as he redirects short of the line to gain. So the Panthers forced a turnover on downs with 8 seconds remaining here at the 28-yard line, as we'll see if they get the miracle here. Maybe I spoke too soon. Although no timeouts, so a tackle in the field of play will definitely end it, as Kincaid just chucking that down the field. And that is in the hands of Whittington, as they do hook up on the deep ball, which brings Whittington over 100 yards on the day, 6 for 120. But unfortunately for the Panthers, no timeouts remaining, as that, of course, would have set up a game-tying field goal attempt. But too long on that play, as 8 seconds on the clock to start that play, just too little for them. And we do just barely escape with the home victory here now. 6-1 at home on this Year 5 season, 11-3, which now marks our best season so far in franchise history, with still a few games left to play. Next episode, we are taking on the Buffalo Bills in a rematch of Super Bowl 62, although they have not been as good this season, but still leading the AFC East, which is a very tough division right now. They're all very closely knitted, although not as top-heavy as our NFC West division. But a huge win here as we match the Rams, as they're now also 11-3, and we own the tiebreaker over them, of course. So if we can just keep pace with them over the rest of this season, we'll be in good hands to secure that top seed and, more importantly, an NFC West division title for the second straight year. But McDonald goes 17 for 27, 239, 62%, which does match Adrian Kincaid. He went 20 for 32, 241, a touchdown, 2 interceptions, a little up and down, but definitely had his bright spots, I would say. And we'll see if the Panthers decide to address quarterback this upcoming offseason or just ride with Kincaid, as Gibbs went 27 for 92. A heavy workload for him, which we do like to see. 1 touchdown, but did fumble twice. And Kincaid even added 60 rushing yards of his own on 14 attempts. He must have been feeling a lot of pressure, which forced him to roll out a lot. Tank Bigsby 7 for 20, but did have that emphatic touchdown there to retake the lead. McDonald had a rushing touchdown of his own, but I think the lack of passing production in this game probably going to hurt his case for MVP even further. And now receiving, Carlos Alvarez 5 for 98, but still did not get that touchdown, so still trailing Nakua in that category. Wicks had 6 for 40, Vince Willis had 2 for 35, also decent impact on the ground with 2 or 3 touches there. Mark Andrews 2 for 51, and again, Marvin Harrison Jr. held without a catch. We hate to see that. And 6 sacks allowed, all combined from our right tackle and left tackle there in Akanu and Miller defensively. Terrion Arnold led with 10 tackles, 9 from Walker. He also had 2 tackles for loss, which led the way, 1 from Pay, Goddard, Patton, O'Rourke, and Torrance. And then sacks, we had 1 from Patton, and we had Sexton and Pay split 1, and interceptions, 1 from Gilmore, his second of the year. Sexton had 1, and he also had a pass deflection, just contributing in all phases of the game. Torrance also with 1, and Goddard even added a pass deflection as well. Drew Sanders and Dakota Michaels each with a forced fumble, and Michaels would even recover 1 as well. Kicking, Will Reichert, another great game, as he's really solidifying his case. I think is one of the best in football. He went 3 for 3, and he's demanding like $6 million plus a year now, so I don't know if we're going to be able to bring him back. Logan Cook had a good day punting. Kitchens and Patton, I think, both looked good returning kicks, as Drew Collins again served as our punt returner. And with that win, we've actually clinched a playoff spot already at 11-3. 3 games remaining on the season. Next week we're going to be at Buffalo, then we have the Jets and the Patriots as well. The Ravens right now leading the AFC are actually tied with the Bengals, so a very similar situation going on in the AFC with the top 2 teams being in the same division, much like our division here. The Rams also have clinched a playoff spot, so as I've said, it's going to be a shame that one of our teams ends up with the number 1 seed likely, and one of us is also going to end up with a wild card spot. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles, and we do kind of control our own destiny, sweeping the season series there against the Rams, and also 5-1 in the NFC West. They're currently 2-2 now in the division. We're 5-1, so they still have 2 more games here to finish out this Year 5 season against the division. We will go down each division now and just get a standings check, as we saw the Ravens and Bengals both 11-3. We'll see who has the better division record though, as the Ravens are 5-1, the Bengals are 4-1, so the Bengals also have to play the Browns one more time, as Cleveland can really play spoiler there in a tiebreaker situation between Baltimore and Cincinnati. The Steelers at the bottom at 6-8 now in the AFC South. Houston, as predicted, is currently leading the division, although they are tied with the Colts both at 9-5. We'll see who has the better division record at this point. The Colts 4-1, the Texans 3-2, as every team in the AFC South still one division game left to play. The Jags, a decent season at 7-7. Good response from last year as they did end up with a top 5 pick, but the Titans still at the doormat here in the division AFC East. The Bills are at 7-7. We're taking them on next episode in a rematch of Super Bowl 62. But the Patriots, Dolphins, Jets, all just a game behind at 6-8. So anything can still happen here in the AFC East. We still have matches against the Patriots and Jets as well. As I mentioned, now in the AFC West, the Chiefs more than likely going to come away with the division title again, as the Broncos, Chargers both at 8-6, vying for a wild card spot. The Raiders at 4-10, vying for a top 5 pick yet again. The Vikings, I think the biggest surprise team in the NFL this season at 9-5, in line to win the NFC North. The Packers at 7-7, vying for a wild card spot. The Lions and Bears both towards the bottom, as I think the Vikings have been the biggest surprise team and the Bears biggest surprise for worse. The biggest disappointment rather. As now in the NFC South, the Falcons and Saints both at 6-8, as we have two mediocre teams here vying for the division title. We'll see who ends up winning it, as the Falcons end division play at 3-3. The Saints currently at 2-3, so they have to play either the Bucks or the Panthers upcoming, as the Bucks were like a bottom team. They were 0-5, I believe, or maybe even 0-6, but I've turned it around a little bit here in recent weeks, but still 4-10. Tied there with the Panthers, who we just barely defeated, as Carolina now on a 4-game losing streak. Now in the NFC East, we have the Eagles at 9-5, a disappointing season from them, but they are still leading the division. Cowboys at 7-7, again looking for another wild card spot, much like last season. The Commanders at 6-8, and the Giants at 4-10. And now in our division, the NFC West, we have our Snowhawks at 11-3, tied with the Rams, but the 49ers also very well could end up with a wild card spot at 8-6, but the Seahawks, they were able to barely clinch a wild card spot last season with a remarkable end to the season, snuck in as the 7th seed, but this time probably going to miss postseason activity. And looking at points for and points against, a very similar differential here for the Los Angeles Rams compared to our Snowhawks. We have 7 less points against, but they have 11 more points for, so really even in point differential and almost exact totals across the board there. They're 5-1 at home, we're 6-1 at home, and we're both very good on the road as well. They're 6-2, we're 5-2, and we also saw the division record. We're 9-3 against the NFC. They're 7-2, so that's a little standings check. To end this episode, we are going to take a look at some scouting real quick. We did assign our super focused scouting in the past episode, which I did omit from the episode, so we'll take a look at how these players graded, that we took some extra resources to see what they would come back at. So the first prospect we looked at was Roosevelt Howell. It's a very, very deep tight end class, and I've been mentioning that Roman Saunders might be in play for us in the first round, but we might end up trading our first round pick altogether for an impact player like maybe Dexter Lawrence or Quinnen Williams to really solidify and fortify our front 7, our defensive line. So if we do end up going that route, we're not even going to be in a position to really select someone like Roman Saunders or even Junior Washington out of Oregon, who would be a nice plan B. But instead I was looking towards round 3 and 4 because, as I said, very deep class. We have a bunch of guys here in the round 3 to 4 projection that we like, and even some guys on day 3 that we like as well, including Kyle Hedgecock here at Notre Dame. I think 3 draftable Notre Dame tight ends projected, but we did go on and scout Roosevelt Howell, and he came back with around 1 to 2 talent grade. So he's someone very high on our radar, with A, catching traffic, B, catching. The deep route going to be B or C, A for B for run block. So a very polished prospect with tremendous size at 6'6", 275. He's going to have great to elite strength, good to great for speed and jumping and agility, which I think for a possession tight end, a great athletic profile to build off of, but he has all the traits to match, it looks like, as well, with A, awareness, short route catching traffic, B, catching, run block finesse, medium route injury, and everything else projected A to B, B to C for the most part. So Roosevelt Howell, someone might even reach on in the second round, depending on how free agency goes and depending on our pick situation. But I think we're going to find a way, more than likely, to draft Roosevelt Howell to maybe be our starting tight end once Mark Andrews' contract runs out in the following year. And also at offensive tackle, we looked at Matt Skandrick, who came back with a disappointing round 3 to 4 talent grade, despite a round 1 to 2 projection. I know the offensive tackles tend to grade out a little bit lower, but even still, I would have liked to see around a 2 to 3 talent grade over rounds 3 to 4, because that projects that he's probably going to have like a low 70 overall or so, with A, awareness, B, impact and run block, C, pass block. But you just love that size at 6'8", 339. Going to have good to great for strength and great to elite for change of direction, solid to good for agility. So despite his big size at 6'8", 340, he can play light on his feet, a little bit nimble, especially considering his size. But A for awareness, B for impact, run block, pass block power, and pass block finesse. That run block finesse does go down to a D, although the lead block would be A for B. So despite his poor talent grade at round 3 to 4, I still do like Matt Skandrick, but he's probably someone that's going to go off the board in the first, maybe even early second round. So I don't know a situation where the value is going to be there. And I think Matt Miner there at left guard was the other guy we checked out as he came back just 70% scouted, so we don't even get a talent grade on him. But we're probably going to lose Randy Samuels, our starting right guard, to free agency, so Matt Minor may be someone to look at, maybe even a potential offensive tackle depending on how he grades out. But great to elite for strength, good to great for agility, change of direction, and solid to good for acceleration. So pretty good athlete considering that 6'5", 345 size, and he's not even really a scheme fit with that power archetype, but I think he's going to be a very good player regardless, with B awareness, pass block, and run block, so already balanced with A to B for impact, the run block finesse at C, the pass block finesse going to be C or D, but the power grades are already very good, and we could always improve him as a finesse blocker as we go on. So that was our super focused scouting. Matt Minor, we had Roosevelt Howell at tight end, who we really like, and then Matt Scandrick here at left tackle came back a little bit disappointing, but he's someone that's still on our radar. But Roosevelt Howell, definitely the most impressive, and we can kind of plan our draft around him as a target in the second round. But this is where I'm going to leave you folks. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad we were able to win both games we played in this episode. It came a little bit too close for comfort there against the Carolina Panthers, but a win is a win. Next episode, we're going to visit the Buffalo Bills in a rematch of Super Bowl 62. Hopefully we can get some revenge and rack up our 12th win of the season, and we try to keep pace there with the Los Angeles Rams in a very tough NFC West division right now. But as always, everybody, it's been real, and be well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.